Okay. Hey, everybody, I'm Jeff. To all those that I just let in, we're waiting 3-4 minutes for any stragglers that may come late. So just bear with me, and then I will turn it over to Lama D and Carolina. Hey, yeah, I think we're good to go.
Good morning, everybody. Well, good morning for us. It's 5:45 over here, and good evening to each of you. Buenas noches a todos. We're so happy to have an opportunity to study the 37 practices again with you. We know that Lama wasn't able to make it last month due to both the travels and also not feeling well. So we're so happy that he's here teaching with us again. Estamos muy agradecidos que Lama está aquí enseñando con nosotros. No estaba aquí el último mes. Okay, we have a question. Anyone that was here with us last time, so it was not last month, but the month before, do y'all know what number we're on? We can't remember if the last one that we taught you was about joy or about meditative concentration. So does anyone remember? Would be helpful to know. Krimalacha, do you know? Ana Paula, ¿tú recuerdas la última? Hemos hablado de alegría o hemos hablado de meditación. Eso no recordamos.
Eu?
Sí, ¿recuerdas?
Não. Eu acho que eu não participei. Alegria e
Let's go with alegría. I think let's go with
I think it was joy.
We did joy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what we think too. So we're all on the same agreements. Okay. Bueno, estamos de acuerdo. Perfect.
Ok. Muy buenas noches allá para todos.
Good evening to everybody.
Dharma Tea Talk, todos si quieren tecito.
Bring your tea because today's a Dharma tea talk.
Maravilloso. Mando un saludo desde Nepal.
And I'm sending you my greetings from Nepal.
Yo recién terminando otro retiro. Latino.
Just finished another retreat with my Latino Sangha.
Cuerpo poco recuperado.
And my body's kind of coming back now.
Entonces, hoy muy feliz compartir una gota de Dharma Tea Talk.
And so today I'm so happy to be able to share a drop of Dharma.
Okay. Entonces, siguiendo retiro allá con la Jigumba.
And so we are continuing right now in a retreat with His Holiness Chesen Rinpoche, Wajigumpa.
Entonces empezamos la Dharma Tea Talk, ¿verdad?
So now we're going to start the Dharma Tea Talk.
Okay. Supongamos acá por ahí. Déjame pasar también.
Obviously. Yeah.
¿Está bien?
Yeah.
Okay. Ya, ahora por alegría.
Now we'll start with the opening prayers.
Dāla
Tawar je pe jana par je pe ya tawa don don je ge pe pa je par je pa tam je ki so je pe manam ka danyam be sem chen dam dewa dan be donga dan ja Yodola name payanda parzo be chanch rinpoche dowarjo. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering. Swiftly will I establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Lo sama ge ge bardo lo nga ye som ge wala ko. Ma she bardo lo nga ye som ge wala ko. De de ring ne son de nye ma san da sam ge bardo lo nga ye som ge wala ko. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Soge chonam la chancho bardo dane kyap sochi. Tage jen soge be sonam ke jolam bancher sange jo bar sho. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the most excellent Sangha, I take refuge until I reach enlightenment. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Yambe sim jen tam che dewa dan dewe gyu dan dembar gyor che. Dunga dan dunga ge gyu dan jawar gyor che. Dunga me be dewa dan me jawar gyor che. Nyeren cha dan nye dan jawe don yon la debar gyor che. May all sentient beings as numerous as the sky have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from joy, and may they be free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. So now we'll...
Les pongo pequeños.
Right on them. Okay. So now we'll go through each of the phrases as usual and bring ourselves forward in continuity to the current phrase, which should be 29. Ahora vamos a leer todas las frases anteriores para traer nuestra mente en continuidad hacia la frase actual. So, Namo Loki Shoraya. I pay homage through my three doors to my supreme teacher and protector Chenrezig, who, while seeing all phenomenon lack coming and going, makes single-minded effort for the good of living beings. Perfect Buddhas, source of well-being and happiness, arise from accomplishing the excellent teachings. And this depends on knowing the practices, so I will explain the practices of Bodhisattvas. Having gained this rare ship of freedom and fortune, to listen, think, and meditate unwaveringly night and day, in order to free yourself and others from the ocean of cyclic existence, this is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Attachments to loved ones are stirred up like water. Aggressions towards enemies burn like fire. Dark are the delusions of forgetting what to adopt and discard. Give up your homeland. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. When one abandons harmful lands, disturbing emotions gradually decrease. When one is without distraction, virtuous activities naturally increase. With clarity of mind, conviction in Dharma arises. Cultivate solitude. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Longtime companions will part. Possessions gained through difficulty will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, will leave the guest house of the body, letting go of this life. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. In the company of base friends, the three poisons increase. Your activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating decline. Love and compassion are made absent. Give up unwholesome friends. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. When one attends a true spiritual friend, faults are consumed, and your good qualities grow full like a waxing moon. Cherish spiritual friends even more than your own body. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Bound himself in the jail of cyclic existence, what worldly God can give you protection? Therefore, when you seek refuge, take refuge in the undeceiving three jewels. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. The subduer said that all unbearable suffering of bad rebirths is the fruit of wrongdoing. Therefore, even at the cost of your life, never do wrong. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Like a dewdrop on a blade of grass, well-being in the three planes of existence perishes in but an instant. Seeking the supreme status of never-changing release is the bodhisattva's practice. When your mothers who have loved you since time without beginning are suffering, what use is your own happiness? Therefore, develop the altruistic intention to free limitless beings. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. All suffering comes from wanting your own happiness. Complete awakening arises from the intention to help others. So exchange completely your happiness for the suffering of others. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Even if someone driven by great desire steals all your wealth or lets others steal it, dedicate to them your body, possessions, and all virtues of the three times. This is the way of a bodhisattva. Even if someone cuts off your head when you haven't done anything wrong, take all their negative deeds upon yourself through the power of compassion. This is the way of the bodhisattva. Even if others slander you throughout a billion worlds, in return, speak with a loving mind of their good qualities. This is the way of a bodhisattva. Even if some dig out my hidden faults and insult me in the midst of a crowd, to bow respectfully, perceiving them as spiritual friends, this is the bodhisattva's practice. Even if a person I have dearly nurtured like my own child should view me as an enemy, to love him even more as a mother does a child stricken with illness is the bodhisattva's practice. Even if driven by pride, an equal or inferior being tries to demean me, placing him with respect like a guru at the crown of my head is the bodhisattva's practice. Though I may lack sustenance, be constantly abused, stricken by grave illness and evil spirits, in return to be undaunted and to take upon myself all wayfarers' misdeeds and ill-being is the bodhisattva's practice. Though I may be renowned with many bowing to me, and may gain wealth like Vaisranas, having seen that the glory and the riches of existence are meaningless, not to be puffed up with pride is the bodhisattva's practice. When the enemy of one's own aggression has not been tamed, subduing outer enemies will only make them multiply. Therefore, to conquer one's own continuum with the army of love and compassion is the bodhisattva's practice. Sensual pleasures are like salt water. The more you partake of them, the more your craving will increase. Therefore, when something arouses attachment, to abandon it immediately is the bodhisattva's practice. The way things appear are one's own mind. From the very beginning, that very mind has been free from elaborated extremes. Knowing just that, not to create in the mind the signs of grasped at and grasping is the bodhisattva's practice. When you encounter attractive objects, though they seem beautiful like a rainbow in summer, don't regard them as real and give up attachment. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. All forms of suffering are like a child's death in a dream. Holding illusory appearances to be true makes you wearied. Therefore, when you meet with disagreeable circumstances, see them as illusory. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. When those who want enlightenment must give even their body, there is no need to mention external things. Therefore, without hope for return or any fruition, give generously. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Without ethics, you can't accomplish your own well-being, so wanting to accomplish others is laughable. Therefore, without worldly aspirations, safeguard your ethical discipline. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. To bodhisattvas who want a wealth of virtue, those who harm are like a precious treasure. Therefore, towards all, cultivate patience without hostility. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Seeing, even hearers and solitary realizers who accomplish only their own good, strive to put out fire on their head for the sake of all beings. Strive to put out fire on their head. For the sake of all beings, make enthusiastic effort, the source of all good qualities. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. In today's verse is far-reaching meditative stabilization. Understanding that disturbing emotions are destroyed by special insight with calm abiding. Cultivate concentration, which surpasses the four formless absorptions. This is the practice of bodhisattvas.
Ok. Hoy nos verso conectado con la shamatha concentration.
Today the verse is connected with shamatha and concentration.
Entre el verso nos hablamos las 6 perfecciones de generosidad hasta generosidad, disciplina, la paciencia, esfuerzo, ¿cierto? O concentración, quinto.
The last verses we've been going through the 6 perfections. We started with generosity, then patience, and diligence. No, sorry, generosity, diligence, and patience, and then joyful effort. And now we're going to be talking about meditative stabilization.
Entonces, normalmente cuando nos practicamos como conducta, importante tener las 6 perfecciones inseparables.
So really, whenever we're practicing our conduct, it's really important to actually practice the 6 perfections in an inseparable way. We don't practice them separately.
Sí, cuando nos enfocamos en generosidad o disciplina, alguien, todo tiene esa cualidad, si falta de concentración, calma mental, tampoco nos va a servir.
So whenever we're practicing things like patience or generosity, if we are lacking in meditative stabilization, for example, then it doesn't actually work.
Entonces, todas las 4 perfecciones interiores que permiten como la ayuda para como mejorarnos conducta, actitudes, ¿cierto? Cuando nuestro comportamiento de bien y concentración mejor, una meditación de shamatha mejor.
So these previous ones around like generosity and patience and diligence and joyful effort, whenever we have good conduct in these, it actually makes our meditative concentration better because the mind is not turbulent.
Entonces acá puse imagen de shamatha, ¿cierto? Ustedes mayores ya saben qué significa y una brevemente aplicación.
So this is the this is like the drawing or the map of the shamatha meditation, and I put it here. So I'm going to explain it a little bit.
Ese normalmente dice 9 maneras de descansar la mente.
This is usually called the 9 ways of resting the mind.
Entonces hay unos monjes, elefantes, y monos y conejos, los fundamentos.
So there's kind of 3 principal figures here. There's
Cuatro,
the 4.
Sí.
There's the monk, and there's the elephant, and there's the monkey,
Conejo.
and there's the rabbit.
¿No? Entonces, usted puede mirarla como la monjita, como representa nosotros, como somos meditantes, ¿cierto?
So the monk is representing us, the meditator.
Y elefante ya representa como mente fundamentos.
And the elephant is representing the fundamental mind itself.
Y mono representa agitación, un obstáculo.
And the monkey is representing like the obstacles or agitation of the mind.
Y conejo ya representa la litarco o como la sueño, digamos.
And the rabbit is representing like the lethargy or the tiredness.
Ese, como conejo y monos como obstáculos principales de meditation. Meditation tiene muchos obstáculos, más resumir ese dos.
So there's a lot of obstacles that occur during meditation, and the two main ones are the lethargy and the mental agitation.
Entonces, cuando nos meditamos, como la profundo, ya cuando meditamos, siempre a veces viene sueño, a veces viene mucho agitado, ¿cierto? Mucho como desequilibrados.
And so this always happens in meditation. There's either like the lethargy that comes or the kind of too many thoughts. And so these are always kind of happening while we're meditating.
Ya. Y elefante negro representa mente no dominado, no purificado.
And the black elephant represents like the mind that's not tamed.
Y conejo como letargo, ¿cierto? Ya está hablado.
And then I said that the rabbit is like the lethargy.
Entonces, la monje ya tiene dos herramientas. Cuando meditamos, nos hace dos herramientas. Uno tiene hacha, uno tiene lanzo.
And
Lazo.
the monk has two tools in his hand. He's got a axe and a lasso.
¿No? Entonces, hacha representa una sabiduría.
And the axe or hatchet represents the wisdom.
La lazo representa la atención plena, mindfulness.
And
¿no?
the lasso is like the atención pleno, is the mindfulness.
Ya. Entonces, ese dos, cuando meditamos, necesario, porque atención plena, tú verla no recordando tu objeto, manteniendo la conciencia, ¿cierto?
So the lasso is like this mindfulness so that we can pay attention and remember our object of meditation.
Y sabiduría que está mirando observador, como está distrayendo, cuando distrae, él trayendo la mente con la dentro.
And excuse me.
Bueno,
And the axe or the hatchet is kind of like this self-observer. It's the vigilance of the mind that's remembering and it's watching. Am I remembering my object or not?
ya. Entonces ahí tienen fuegos, aguas alrededor de esa imagen, ¿cierto? Flores,
And you see like
fruta.
fire and water and fruit and flowers and all sorts of things. No, está ahí.
Ya.
Can-
Ahora revisando.
Can you hear us now?
Sí.
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay,
Okay.
so he said there's flowers and fire and water and all sorts of things like that around on the path as well.
Las 5 palabras seres, ¿cierto?
And they represent the
Como
five
la
kind
detección.
of five senses or the five
Mhm.
pleasures
Y también emotions.
and our different kind of emotions.
No, ya. Ana Paula, ¿escucho?
Do you have a question, Ana
Oh,
Paula?
Não,
Tomás?
não. O fogo, a fruta,
Yeah.
representa o quê? A
Los,
emoção.
Como las 5 sentidos, palabras de 5 sentidos, ¿no? Porque, ¿cierto? Como la
the pleasures of the five
detección,
senses.
detección. Y también emociones, por boca con eso.
Mhm.
Por boca de emociones.
He was just saying the fire and the water and the flowers and these things, they're also representing the distractions of the five senses or the five pleasures. And also this represent the different emotions and things that we have, which are also distractions to meditation.
Ya, cuando meditamos eso, ¿verdad? Y entonces, ese como llamada, como lo nos interna nuestra mente elefante negro.
And so what we're doing is we're taming this black elephant.
Entonces, cada vez el elefante está blanco, y poco a poco desaparece conejo y como la monos, y significa la mente dominado. Finalmente ese monje atlante y el montando y el montando la elefantes, eso significa el completo dominados.
So the elephant starts off black, and the more that it goes along the path with the monk, then it's turning white. And so the whiter that it gets, it means like a tamed mind. And so yeah, so that's what it's doing along the path as the monk applies kind of the antidotes. The mind is getting more tame.
Ya. Por eso es muy importante para decir Shine rapto de Lactongis. Shine significa tibetano, Shamata, ¿verdad? Shamata significa pacifica la mente.
So the word shine means is like the shamatha, right? The calm abiding meditation. Ahora me olvidé.
Good. Y,
So I'm not sharp at 6 a.m., y'all. I forgot
Okay.
a sentence.
ok. Entonces, la Shine significa pacifica la mente. quiere
Yeah.
decir.
So okay. So it means shine or shamatha means to pacify the mind.
Ok. Entonces, por eso el budismo tibetano es súper importante tenerlo shamatha internamente, primero.
And so in Tibetan Buddhism, it's actually really important to have shamatha at the beginning.
Es como establecer la mente, como crear estructura de la mente, y también eso permite disminuir las aflicciones más gruesas.
So because when we have this stabilization, it really helps to stabilize the mind and to not fall.
Bear with us for just a second. Figure out, see if they can't get their connection back. Okay, they had to hop off real quick. So maybe 2 minutes, they'll hop back on. It doesn't look like their internet connection is so great. I wish I could entertain you all. Let me check in with them on the phone. Aha. Here they are. Where'd they go?
Ok, disculpe regrese desde Himalaya.
He said, I returned from the Himalayas.
Ok. Está hablando Lama de importancia shamatha, ¿verdad?
So I was describing the importance of shamatha.
¿No? Porque shamatha, solo meditamos shamatha, eso no permite liberar de samsara.
So just practicing shamatha or calm abiding, stabilizing the mind does not liberate us from samsara.
Entonces, por eso haga eso shamatha tú puedes llegar punto de samsara, como punto de samsara se queda saliendo, haz punto.
This kind of meditation can take you to the point of leaving samsara,
Pero no como subir.
but it can't actually like liberate you.
¿Por qué no subir?
Why can it not like go above and beyond? Why can't it liberate you?
Porque ahí tiene como apegado con como gozos.
Because we get attached to the pleasure of the meditation.
Haga dice cuatro, ¿qué dijo?
It says
Cuatro formas.
it says cultivating concentration that needs to surpass the 4 formless absorptions.
Y entonces eso solo quitamos la shamatha, no va a salir eso.
So if you just stay in calm abiding, we don't pass
Con
this.
la apega, ¿no? Entonces, cuatro formas, un tipo de nivel de conciencia y sin forma de reino se llama.
Okay, no entendí.
Cuatro formas de
Formless
cuatro,
realms.
cuatro reinos de la sin forma.
Ajá. Y
Acá tiene cuatro, ¿viste? Yo busqué
y
traducción.
dijiste algo del reino de Dios.
No, cuatro, un nivel de conciencia,
Ujú.
pero digo, no son llamados cuatro reinos de las sin formas.
Okay,
Tibeta.
so these are called the four formless realms, and they are levels of consciousness that are achieved through meditation.
Un nivel de experiencia de
So
shamatha.
these kind of levels of experience that happen when you do shamatha.
La primera experiencia viene de ese infinito vacío del espacio.
One is called the realm of boundless empty space.
Cuando tu shamatha profundo viene esa experiencia.
When you do shamatha deeply, you experience this.
Segundo viene infinito conciencia.
And one is a
Segundo.
realm of boundless consciousness.
El segundo, ¿no? Y tercera viene nada, algo como nada.
The third is called the realm of nothingness.
No. Y cuarto ese como dice,
No
¿qué
thought.
digo?
No thought.
No, ¿cómo dice en español? No, neither, ¿qué dice?
Neither thought, no
Neither,
thought.
no.
It's el reino de ni pensamiento ni no pensamiento. So it's the realm of neither thought or no thought.
Como no puede decir bien, sí o no, como algo, ¿no?
It's like you can't really decide, is it a thought or not a thought?
Ese de cuarto punto.
So that's like the kind of ultimate kind of state, the last stage.
Algunos meditan queda ahí.
And sometimes meditators stay there.
No vipassana.
And then they don't move into vipassana.
Eso puede caer de nuevo samsara.
And you can fall from this state again into samsara.
Porque semilla está dormido todavía
Because
ahí.
there's still dormant seeds there.
Ya. Por eso es importante y importancia de ser como el vipassana, ¿cierto?
And so it's really important to move from this meditative stabilization into vipassana.
El vipassana que comprende como la vacuidad, ¿cierto? Ausencia.
And so
Ausencia de yo.
because the vipassana is used to understand the absence of the I,
Ya comprende la realidad, ¿no?
to comprehend reality.
Entonces ahí corta definitivamente la causa de sufrimientos.
So
¿no?
that actually cuts the cause of suffering.
Entonces, por eso vipassana viene después, ¿cierto?
So that's why vipassana comes after this.
Ya. Entonces, nosotros todo fundamento primero importante shamatha, como para internarlos, ¿no?
And so it's first important to train in shamatha
Para establecer la mente, ¿verdad?
to stabilize the mind.
Ok. Espera un poquito. Vaya. Digamos alguna pregunta, ¿cierto?
Stop
La tengo.
there.
Ya. ¿Alguna
Does anybody have any
Alguna-
questions?
comentarios? ¿Qué horas son? Mira, 6:20.
6:20.
Ok. ¿Alguna pregunta general su práctica?
Jeff has a
Oh,
question.
I have a question. So when it says the four formless realms, anyway, is the path that's winding? It's 4 levels. Is that what it's referring to?
Está diciendo en el,
Más voz alta, porque
está
escucha.
diciendo en el, como en el dibujo, está hablando de los 4 reinos de concentración de sin forma. Estos tiene 4 niveles en el dibujo. ¿Esto está representando eso?
No, eso.
No,
Más allá de eso.
it's beyond that.
No, y eso tiene que pasar todo, ¿cierto? Todo tiene que pasar ahí, comienza de las
Yeah,
4 niveles.
once you pass all of those stages of shamatha, then you start to go into those 4 formless realms.
Como experiencia. ¿verdad?
Like they're just like inner experiences.
Okay, entiendo. Gracias.
Entonces, cuando shamatha también ayuda también la ¿cómo se llama?
Clairvoyance.
Español, ¿cómo dice?
Clairvoyancia, no sé.
Clarividencia.
Oye, gracias. Clarividencia. Clarividencia, ok, ok. Vela que sabe el futuro pasados.
So when you are strong in shamatha, you can begin clairvoyance, which is like knowing the future and the past.
Y cuando meditas muy profundo, tú recuerdas tu vida pasado. Por eso Buda consigue leer, ¿cierto?
So like through these meditations, you could end up like in knowing of a past life. That's why the Buddha like kind of knew these things.
Hace la memoria, mejor memoria.
It makes your memory even better.
¿Cierto? Por eso, como si fuera, yo siempre digo, ¿no? Como agua contaminada, uno agua hirviendo, ya como un mismo agua primero. Agua hirviendo. Cuando agua hirviendo, abajo de olla, ¿qué dibujo tiene no ver? Porque agua está muy agitada.
So for example, if there was a drawing at the top, at the bottom of a pot, and then the water is boiling in the pot, you can't see the drawing at the bottom of the pot because the water is boiling.
Y cuando agua está como calmo, ¿cierto? No hirviendo,
But when the water's no longer boiling and it's calm,
calmo, y ver agua calada.
you can see through the water clearly at what's below.
Ese es shamatha.
So this is shamatha.
¿Sí? Ver todo por mí. En realidad, sabiduría no se dice shamatha, ¿cierto?
And really, wisdom is born from this shamatha.
Y como tarea, comenzar unos objetos primero.
And so you start with an object.
Objetos físicamente
Like you
externos.
start with a physical object.
O mirar el Buda, imagen de Buda.
You can look at like an image of
una
a
velita.
Buddha or like a candle.
Solo mirar.
So you just look at these things.
Uno ojo media, ojo cerrado.
Your eyes kind of half closed.
Atento con la respiración.
And like attentive to your breath.
Hasta cuando puede tu mente.
And
¿no?
so like just try to leave your mind there on that object as long as you can.
Subliminalmente miramos a una velita o taza.
So if we're watching the candle or a cup,
Mente quiere mirar la thermos.
the mind of course wants to jump over to the thermos.
Es con la respiración.
And so you breathe again.
Y volver a.
And you just bring it back.
Y como esa manera interna.
And so we train in this way.
Yeah.
And the longer that we do it over and over again, what happens is as we continuously bring it back, over time, the conceptual mind or the thoughts just start to relax and loosen a bit. And so it really matters. The consistency of the practice matters the most, rather than thinking, oh, we need to have a meditation that has no thoughts. That's not actually the goal. The goal is to continuously bring the mind back and back and back, so that finally it doesn't have anywhere to go, it stays. And so even moving through the tiredness too, so the mind kind of how do you say, it gets loose, it drops and starts to go dreamy. So it goes and you bring it back, and it goes and bring it back. And the more consistent we can do that each day, closer and closer we get to the mind resting with the mind itself. Solo como brevemente para decir que el punto de la práctica no es para tener no pensamiento. El más que nosotros podemos tener la continuidad de cada día, como meditar. Cuando tenemos pensamientos, traerle de nuevo al objeto. Cuando tenemos letárgica, también traerlo al objeto. Entonces, el punto de una buena meditación no es no tener pensamiento, es just recordar cada vez a tu objeto. Y en algún momento la mente suelta un poco y es más fácil que la mente quede con la mente misma. Ella tenía una pregunta.
Mente hace como flexible.
The mind becomes more flexible.
Porque ahora nuestra mente como si fuera muy como intenso, ¿cierto?
Right now the mind is very rigid
rígido,
and intense.
Como si fuera muy duro, ¿cierto?
It's like the mind is very...
solda, ¿cierto?
And so the mind is very rigid right now. So the more that we practice bringing it back to the object, it gets more flexible and it gets more easy to work with. July has a question.
Hola, buenas noches.
Hola, buenas
Am,
noches.
o buenos días, allá también. Lama, recientemente lo que más me sucede es caer en el sueño o letargo, ¿sí? He estado practicando la concentración, a quedarme viendo fijamente un objeto. Sin embargo, siento todavía que mi cuerpo cierra los ojos. Sí, estoy tratando, dándome cuenta que inclusive es el cuerpo. Yo quiero concentrarme, pero se me cierran los ojos y tengo que hacer esfuerzos para abrirlos. ¿Tienes alguna práctica o alguna otra recomendación que me pueda ayudar, para mantenerme despierta?
So she said that she's been practicing meditation, and what's been really happening recently is that the lethargy is really strong. And so, even if she wants to keep her eyes open, the body is automatically closing the eyes. And is there any sort of practice that he can offer that can help her stay awake for meditating?
Mira, es importante tener equilibrios,
So, it's good to have balance.
porque a veces nos soltamos demasiado completamente y él viene sueño, ¿no?
So, sometimes we just get so relaxed, and so then the mind gets tired.
Y a veces viene mucho, como llama, mucho atención concentrada y viene más agitación,
And
¿no?
sometimes we're too focused, and then the mind gets agitated.
Entonces es importante primero postura.
So first, the posture is
Postura
important.
más cuando sueño viene como hacia recto.
So
parada recto,
whenever you're get tired, bring your body straighter,
¿no? Y tratar ojo más abierto,
and you
¿no?
can open your eyes more.
Abierto. Y hágale como un corto meditation.
And do a shorter
Como
meditation.
como no tan largo, digamos,
You
¿no?
can do a meditation that's not as long,
5 minutos, tal vez,
5 minutes,
ya, máximo 10 minutos.
or maybe max 10 minutes.
Después es como la renuendo.
And then
¿no?
like stop for a moment and then renew it again.
Ya. Eso más ayuda, ¿no?
This is helpful.
Y poco a poco acostumbra.
And then
¿cierto?
little by little, the mind will adjust.
¿Sí? Normalmente cuando dice una persona aquietada o cerrado, como mucho letargo, poco ojo abierto.
They say if your mind is really agitated, close the eyes a little bit more. And if the mind is really kind of lethargic, open the eyes more.
Ya. Y eso ayudará, ¿no?
And so that's helpful.
Es ayudar. Y normalmente cuando meditamos también nos tiene que ver la alimentaciones.
Also, when we're meditating, the food that we eat is important.
¿no? Por eso dice la mañana muy buena dice meditar.
So they say it's good to meditate in the morning.
Porque como ayuno, ¿no? No tiene comida.
Because you're fasting and you don't have food in your stomach.
Entonces mucho más mejor, ¿no?
And so it's easier.
¿No? Y la más mejor concentración.
And
¿no?
then there's like better concentration.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Dormir 5 minutos.
Ya, no, eso. Una vez Milarepa dijo, y él cuando medita viene muchos sueños, ¿cierto?
So one time Milarepa was saying that he was really tired when he was meditating.
Y él dijo, primero quiero terminar los sueños,
And-
después quiero meditar.
And Milarepa said, first I'm going to get rid of being tired and then I'm going to meditate.
Y él durmió un día entero,
And he slept for a whole day
pero peorendo.
and it got worse.
Quiere más dormir,
And he
¿no?
wanted to sleep more.
Después una semana durmió.
And so he slept for a week.
Tampoco no está terminando, peorendo.
And
Quiere
it
dormir
didn't,
más.
and it didn't get better. He wanted to sleep more.
Y él dijo, ignorancia de sueño no hay fin.
He said the ignorance of sleeping is of this dream is it has no end.
Y no durmió,
And so
Pues,
he said after that, I'm not going to be sleeping like this.
pues se haga una lámpara,
He put like a butter lamp,
fuego.
a fire like above his head.
Ahora mucha atención, ¿cierto?
Now he's very attentive.
Si no, él puede quemar.
If not, it would burn him.
Y eso es interno. Ahí él concentrado.
And then he really concentrated.
Normalmente se puede internar, ¿no?
And so there's ways to train.
Y a veces nuestro cuerpo está cansado, viene sueño también, ¿no?
Sometimes our body's actually really tired and tiredness comes.
Ya.
Mhm.
Ya, una velita arriba.
We put a candle.
Ese broma, ya no hace.
He said, I'm joking, don't do that.
Solo mirar abajo de hacer.
Only Milarepa can do it. Is there any other questions? We have about 10 minutes left. I was just gonna share too, like, there's so many options of meditations out there today, so it's really good to know when you're meditating, like what kind of meditation that it is. You know, meditation in general is beneficial, but I think that one of the interesting things that Tibetan Buddhism kind of points out is they really kind of identify three main meditations, and there's different techniques inside of it. So you've got the shamatha meditation, which most of the meditations that you find today all around is a form of shamatha meditation. It's breathing, or it's mindfulness, or it's visualizations, or it's even yoga, like paying attention to your breath and your body in union. These things are shamatha. And then moving into vipassana, in Tibetan Buddhism, vipassana means specifically that you're looking into the nature of mind and looking at the kind of like emptiness of the mind and the self, right? And kind of, how do you say, like utilizing the logic kind of. And so then they talk about Mahamudra, which is the nature of mind itself. And so it's just really good to know that when you're following a path of meditation, to be sure to know like what the intended outcome is. And because as he mentioned earlier, if we stay in shamatha, which is just coming into like the peacefulness, the relaxedness, or the stability of the mind, we can just stick there in the pleasure, you know? So it's good to think about, this isn't like teachings that are really far out there. It's actually applicable to what we have in our world today. So like if the end result of the meditation is just to stay in the peacefulness, it's just nice to know that there are additional stages that one could go to really cut the source of the afflictive emotions, which is necessary to go into vipassana and necessary to go into Mahamudra or Dzogchen. Entonces, solo estaba diciendo brevemente que hay muchas meditaciones hoy en día en el mundo, entonces es muy bueno para saber qué es el fin de esa meditación, qué es la meta, porque la mayoría de las meditaciones que encontramos, que todos son beneficiosos realmente, pero el fin típicamente es tener calma, ¿cierto? Entonces, lo que Lama está diciendo es que aparte de esta calma y estabilización, hay otros dos meditaciones importantes para cortar las emociones y el sufrimiento, que es vipassana, que es mirar la naturaleza de la mente usando la lógica, y también el Mahamudra, donde dejamos la mente sin conceptos. Entonces es como importante, podemos disfrutar las meditaciones, pero es súper importante saber qué es su meta, qué es su fin, y no queda ahí en solo la calma, ¿cierto? Ahí tenemos que empujarnos un poco más para seguir adelante en las meditaciones.
Y más importancia, claro, meta de meditación para despertar, ¿cierto? Despertar.
¿Cómo?
Meta de meditación para despertar la conciencia.
Yeah, ultimately the goal of meditation is to wake up the mind.
Y otro es como reconocer nosotros mismos, nuestra naturaleza.
And it's also to recognize our true nature.
Y comprender la realidad, ¿no?
And to
Cómo funciona.
And
¿no?
to comprehend reality and how it works.
Eso es fundamental porque nosotros estamos haciendo equivocaciones, muchas
Because
cosas.
we're
¿no?
making lots of errors.
Y nuestra percepción con función de realidad no alineada.
Our perception and the way that reality is are not aligned.
Entonces, entre eso ahí como queriendo los problemas.
And
¿no?
so this is what's creating the problems.
Cuando meditamos, eso nuestra visión abre, ¿cierto?
And
Más
whenever
profundo.
we meditate, this is the view that opens.
Mientras subimos más allá, volamos
And
más allá,
the more that we go,
ve la visión panorámica.
we can start to see a wide panoramic view of reality.
Ahí nosotros llamamos el Buda, ¿cuál nombre tú llamas?
And this is what we call Buddha.
Significa despertos.
It's an awakened mind completely.
Ya. Esa meta fundamentos, ¿no?
And so this is the goal. And
Imagino que
no ve nada.
el evento.
Oh, you mean kahal?
Cajal, ¿cierto?
Okay, yes,
Cajal.
kahal.
Lorraine.
Hello. Hi. Sorry, I
Hi.
can't find how to put my hand up.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you, Lama, for your teaching, and thank you, Carolina. When I'm doing Anapanasati Sutta practice, what form of meditation is that? Is it one or the other, or is it different?
Cuando estoy haciendo la Anapanasati Sutra, ¿cuál meditación es?
Ese como la incluido tres.
It's actually all three. It moves you from one to the next to the next.
Ya, ese todo completo, en
It's,
realidad, ¿no?
it's,
Ese
a,
muy bueno,
it's a complete form of meditation.
¿no?
So what Kahal is asking about is the retreat that we have coming up, which July just asked about too. The retreat that we have coming up in Costa Rica in February. It's February 23rd to March 1st. It's called Noble Silence. That is a complete form of meditation because it's 16 steps and it trains your mind with the breath to go from shamatha, and then it perks the mind up. Once it's calm, it perks your mind up to look at itself. This is vipassana. And then rest the mind in its natural state, which is the Mahamudra. So for any of you that are interested, Jeffrey's going to put a link into the chat right now that's from the website. It's the Noble Silence retreat. So if you're interested to learn with Lama about these techniques, we have that coming up soon. Lo que Cajal está preguntando es, nosotros ofrecimos una específica meditación que es Noble Silence y lo vamos a hacerlo de nuevo en febrero. Y él está preguntando cuál de sus meditaciones es. Y necesitamos, la respuesta del Lama es los tres. Esto es como un juego de meditación que está súper completo. Esto era las meditaciones del Buda, que era hace 2500 años. Y es un paso a paso que va desde shamatha hacia vipassana, que puede ver la mente, hacia liberar la mente en Mahamudra. Entonces es una forma de meditación súper completo.
Ok. Ahora ya quiero que hoy dejamos terminar acá.
So I think we're gonna leave the talk here today.
Nosotros tenemos retiro ahora ir
We need to go to our retreat now at the monastery with
por la
Kungpa.
sociedad. Ese también retiro hacen para ustedes, ¿no?
And we're also doing this retreat for you.
¿No? Trae cada uno más como más enseñanza, más la bendición de
That
uno va
we-
para compartir.
That we can bring more teachings and more blessings to you to share with you.
¿Ya? Vamos a hacer una dedicación.
And we're gonna do the dedication now.
Entonces, ustedes, más importante, yo quiero que practica, ¿cierto?
I think what's most important is practice.
Información no falta mucho, pero en realidad, pero siempre más atrasa la práctica.
We're not lacking in information. What we're lacking is practice.
Eso es importante, ¿no?
So dale un tarea.
Ya, ahora como ustedes pueden meditar la más llamada. Ahora es tarea.
So your homework is to practice for this month. Practice shamatha
Llamada ya.
cada día.
Ya, cada día llamada más.
Every
¿no?
day, practice shamatha for at least for 5 minutes.
Pero ¿qué tiene ustedes como la anapanasati, como de Cajal digo? Y eso ustedes pueden mantener.
For those of you that are already practicing the anapanasati, like the noble silence, continue to practice that daily.
Quien no tiene nuevo, primero como la interna la shamatha.
And if you haven't practiced anapanasati yet, then please practice shamatha.
Ponga una velita,
So
vela.
put a candle in front of
Vela
you.
prende como cualquier color, no importa.
It
ya.
doesn't matter the color.
Y solo mira uno media ojo cerrado.
And keep your eyes kind of half closed.
Solo como tampoco, es lindo, bonito, no analizar.
Don't analyze it and decide if it's beautiful or not.
Pero tener conciencia ahí.
Just
solo.
be aware that
Como-
there's the candle.
Ese como método acompaña su mente concentrada.
The
solo.
method is that your mind wants to accompany the candle.
Entonces eso
and
entienden, ¿no?
respirar.
Ya. Y segundo, y más respiración.
And just be paying attention to your breath. So you're breathing and you're aware of the candle. Also, you can just throughout the day pay attention to your breathing. Just
Respiración.
know that you're breathing.
¿Ya? Y cada momento cuando durante la día, atención plena con la cada cosa, objeto, ¿cierto?
And throughout the day, pay attention to what you're doing, like to the object that you're touching or the object that you're seeing. Just be mindful of
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Como ese es tu objeto, ¿cierto?
So this is your object.
¿No? ¿Ya?
So
Y
each-
otro tipo de meditación.
That's it. That's another type of meditation. So each day practice shamatha for at least 5 minutes. Could be in the morning or the evening, but practice just calming the mind and bringing it to one object.
Ya. Pero 5 minutos, 10 minutos, no importa mucho tiempo. Más importante, cualidad.
Yeah.
Cualidad.
Cantidad.
Cualidad.
Oh yeah, so,
Quality of
yeah.
time.
So what's in? Don't you can just do 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Don't try to force a long time. What's important is that you're consistent and that you give your all in that meditation for the 5 or 10 minutes. Really,
No,
the
no
quality of.
diciendo cosas, ¿no?
Don't allow your mind to keep thinking. Keep bringing it back. Really have the quality of meditation to
No.
bring your mind back.
Eso puede avanzar mucho.
So you can really advance a lot if you do that once a day.
Ya. Okay. Okay, Bodhisattva dedication.
Dedication to bodhicitta.
Chanjo semjo rinpoche ma kewa nam ke gyorje kewa nyamba me ba ya gone gondo be warsho. Chanjo semjo rinpoche ma kewa nam ke gyorje kewa nyamba me ba ya.
El excelente y precioso bodhicitta surge donde no ha surgido, que no decline donde ha surgido, que siempre incrementa más y más. May the excellent precious bodhicitta arise where it has not arisen, may it never decline where it has arisen, and may it always increase more and more.
Maravilloso. Y unas buenas noches. Ustedes para nosotros buenos días.
I hope that you all have a great evening and that we have a great day.
Entonces, conectamos maravillosamente esa energía.
And so connect marvelously to this energy.
Y también ustedes, uno pide un favor, uno rezo chiquitito, una amiga muy cercana, ya recién falleció.
And we want to, as we shared on Monday, we want to ask for your prayers. A really dear friend of ours, Taya, just passed. Also, Melinda. Also,
Aló.
the mother of Melinda just passed. So we're asking for your prayers, please.
Que a cada uno de ustedes tenga su mente o poquito, un momento, como conecta la amor y compasión, ¿no?
So just send it for a moment, just connecting your mind to love and compassion and
Y-
sending it to
Y
them.
mandar de Om Mani Padme Hum o Amidewa.
And
Om Mani
doing-
Dewa, sí.
I'm doing the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra or Om Mani Dewa Shri. So we're asking you for also to do that daily right now.
Ya. Si ustedes pueden hacer poquito intención, ¿no?
If you can please
¿no?
put your intention and send it to
Como
them.
cualquiera ser tiene, claro, muchos seres ya fallecidos,
Of
¿cierto?
course, there are many beings
Y
passing.
siempre bueno nos ayuda parte de eso,
So
¿verdad?
it's good for us to send our prayers and to help them.
Realmente ellos pueden recibir eso.
Really, it helps them along the way.
Ya. Okay.
Okay.
Gracias.
Thank you
Muchas
so
gracias. Gracias.
Buenas noches, buenas noches.
Buenas
My
noches.
word.
Buenos días.
Boa noite, obrigada.
Thank you.
Buenas noches.